Hello, I'm Wanderer001 and this is my review of the Amazon Fire Stick 4K. Now I will preface this with this is a review of the stock Amazon Fire Stick 4K. This is not a review of a crack or jailbroken Amazon Fire Stick. This is just for, hey, I bought this from Amazon and I plugged it into my TV. With that said, in the box what you get is your Amazon Fire Stick here. This is the 4K variant, which means it is much beefier than the standard Fire Stick, or in comparison to a Roku streaming stick review over there. I've done 2 of those. This is a much larger device at 4 inches long, not including the part that plugs into your HDMI port. Now, the width and depth of it are not really the big issue here. It is this length. It is a beefy device. And by that I mean here is a standard flash drive next to it, on top of it, and lengthwise. Also, a set of playing cards. You can see that the device is longer than a set of playing cards. And here we have depth-wise. So depth-wise, not terrible. Actually, it's the same depth as a standard deck of playing cards. Now, the reason for having something this size is because in this, it packs a quad-core 1.7 gigahertz processor, 8 gigs of storage, and Wi-Fi band 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz antenna. And the 5 gigahertz does support the latest AC standard, meaning that is your fastest standard as of current day of filming. Now, aside from the Amazon Fire Stick here, which is fairly unobtrusive and unassuming, it's just matte all the way around. Don't even have really Amazon branding except for this. You have a single micro USB power port right there, because what is also included is a 5-watt power brick here. And I will say the size of this compared to some of the other Amazon power bricks is nice. It's their shorter model, so it's not the elongated. That does make it a little fatter, but that's not terrible. So you get power brick, but you also get a 5-foot USB to micro USB cable here. And we're just gonna move that out of frame for a second. You also have this HDMI extender. So if your Fire Stick is too big to fit in the side of your TV, you have the extender here, which will allow you to place it a little better. So it is flexible enough to get you a little wiggle room there. So the Amazon Fire Stick here is a plug and play device, meaning or HDMI plug into your TV and you wire it up and you are good to go. Now, I will say that this device, one, I don't have a 4K TV, but this was on sale, couldn't pass it up at that price. 4K will come down in the future, so I will get a 4K TV in the future, so I'm future-proofing myself a little bit there. What I found when plugging this in, you have the option normally with devices like this to plug it directly into your TV set or into a power outlet. Now, this uses or requires too much draw in order to use power from the TV. I had to use power from a cable. So if you have a already full entertainment center, that might make things a little trickier for you, but power usage is not terrible. When idling, meaning you're not watching anything, it uses only 1.07 watt of power. And when streaming HD Netflix, again, not 4K because I don't have a 4K TV, it uses 1.22 watts of power. Again, slightly less than the Roku streaming stick, and again, the review is over there. In screensaver mode, because it does have a screensaver mode, power usage in comparison to its idle state is negligible, so it doesn't increase like the Roku did, which is a little weird. So I keep saying it's a plug and play device. So what does the setup of this look like? Well, let's take a look. All right, so we're gonna see the boot cycle again. Pressing start, doing English. Now it's scanning for networks. So it's got a bunch of networks it can choose from. Apparently, before I could even choose my network, it registered the device to me because, well, I'm the one who ordered it. So that's interesting. You can change it or continue. I'm going to continue. And then we can select parental controls or no parental controls, which obviously it looks like we'll be able to go back and fix later. So it's just my wife and I, so we're going to do no parental controls. Parental controls, if you see in the lower right hand corner there, allows purchasing and video playback without a pin. So we're going to leave it no parentals, like I said. Now it's preparing to set up the remote. This is going to be interesting again because I have yet to actually connect this to my Wi-Fi network. The only thing I can think of... Alright, so got to make sure your volume's up. So it's going to pair the remote to the TV, I have a feeling. The only thing that I can think of, and I will check after the installation process is done, my wife has a Kindle which has one of our Wi-Fi network's credentials on it. It's our 2.4 gigahertz, not our 5 gigahertz. So I'm curious to see if that's the network that it automatically jumped onto. But we're going to hit. So there we go. Just like the Roku, a little more seamless, I would say. You just point and start voluming. It ran through the codes itself. So Fire TV remote is now successfully set up.
Welcome to your new Fire TV Stick 4K TV shows, plus millions of ad-free songs, and free 2-day shipping. What are you going to watch first on your new Fire TV Stick 4K?
So it does seem like it grabbed my credentials from my wife's Kindle. Also, I will have you note that it did trigger my Echo device, which is sitting on the other side of the TV there. Actually, it might even be in frame. Yeah, it's right there. Several times. You probably saw it while it was going. So we're going to say get started choosing some streaming services. So for me, let's see what we got here. I'm surprised they don't have Netflix or Hulu there. I don't have TV services. Don't really do sports. Here we have featured services. So this I will agree with. Pluto TV, I do have on my Roku. Twitch, Amazon Fire TV sticks are now the only way that you can watch Twitch. So kind of have to choose that. And really that's it. No Netflix or Hulu on this onboarding process. Then we'll press the play pause to continue. And we will say finish to add those. And now it's going to bring us to the main login screen. Okay, well here we go. So apps and channels. Alright, so we come down here, we've got Netflix, we've got Prime. So it did load up. Some of them are in the cloud. So like Hulu in the cloud, we would click on that. Download it. So now it's queuing that to be downloaded. Got it. So the 30-second skip back button is how you go back with this. So we've got, it didn't load Pluto TV, it just queued it. Alright. Alright, so that was the onboarding process. We'll have to put our credentials into these things here in order to actually use them, but I'm going to play with this and come back with what I get. Now, you saw what the setup of this was like. Now, part of that setup you saw included the remote control for the 4K Fire Stick here. Now, I will say that I was running this alongside my Roku, and after a while I did get very used to this remote. Starting at the top here, you have a power button which will power on your TV, which is great. You have a microphone port right there and a Amazon AAC-LC trigger, which is how you search and do actions on the actual Fire Stick, which I will show you a little later. Here, you have your directional wheel, but it's not actually a wheel, it's just press, 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 press. And in the middle, you just that's your OK button. Because the design of this kind of reminded me of the Apple TV, I kept trying to scroll with this thinking it was touch sensitive. It is not, so that's just a big old OK button, and you're gonna use this as your 4-directional D-pad. You've got a rewind or back button. You've got your home button. You have your options there. And again, this is rewind, play, pause, fast forward. So this is in apps rewinding, so backspace if you want to think about it this way. Because it can connect to your TV, and you saw that during the setup because there is an IR blaster right there, you have volume controls for raising and lowering and muting. I am going to say, yes, the newer Rokus, I see this, they finally have added it, but a mute button. You do not realize how much you want and need a mute button until you need that mute button. Hulu, just saying, those commercials sometimes. So, coming to the back of the remote, there's a little divot there to help you hold the remote when, especially using the D-pad up here. Pressing and holding, so push down, slide back, reveals that you have 2 AAA batteries here, again provided by Amazon with the remote, with the whole setup here. AAA, they are stacked like this, which helps the remote. Actually, right now, this is the slimmest remote I have for a streaming device. And I will say, good on you, Amazon. I hope Roku catches up with that. Now, there's a lot of other things that we can talk about the stick itself, but I'll put a lot of the more technical jargon stuff in the description area below. 4K Ultra HD, high dynamic range, Dolby Vision Atmos, all of that stuff and more will be in the description area below. Because for most people, what you want to see is the on-screen interface and how it works and all the things that you can do with it. Now, I will preface saying, because this is an Amazon device, you are going to be sitting in a very Amazon-heavy universe. So keep that in mind. This isn't going to be quite as universal as something like the Roku. Here we're looking at the user interface for the Amazon Fire Stick 4K. And just for reference, here is the remote. So I will be referencing the directional buttons here, the OK button, and this button right here, which is our voice, as well as power, and then volume control. So as you can see, I can control the volume of the TV using the included voice remote. Now I'm just gonna keep that at 0 just in case we're gonna show you some things and we don't necessarily want there to be voices, which will help with demonetization, I'm sure. So main screen here in the upper left hand corner there, you're on your home, it's highlighted in orange. Hitting the directional button on the D-pad here to the left will bring you over to the search. Now this is one of the things I wish was a little better with the interface here. When searching, you have to hunt and peck. There's no typing. Can hit the back button there, which brings back up to the top and back to home. You can use voice search, which is generally how I do this because there's no mobile app to type in. You can get peripherals that will allow you to type in and use Bluetooth, but we'll get to that a little later. So home screen, this is what you get when you first arrive on your Amazon Fire Stick. You can see right there, big advertisement for Hacksaw Ridge on IMDb TV, which, by the way, Amazon owns. So you're gonna get that feeling throughout this. It's Amazon properties. So clicking down once brings you into the Premiere area. You can see those little dots there just shows that it's trying to get you to look at. Clicking one more time down brings you to your recent. So these are your recent shows and applications. In this case, I was in The Boys doing some testing, probably will watch that. But then here we go, Twitch app, Netflix app, Pluto app, NordVPN. Because this device is more than just a streaming stick, you can do things like add Nord, or a little later, actually down here, in the Your apps and channels, news, I didn't put that there, that came Hulu, I put that on there. Twitch I put on. Netflix was there. YouTube I put on. Prime Video obviously will be there. IMDb TV also there. Pluto TV I put on. But notice you've got local news, internet. They have that cloud symbol. What that means is it's a app, but it's not technically on your device. So if you were to, in this case, internet, because you can get internet through this, select internet, what it will do is load, and then tell you to download it, which is what that is right there. Any of the other channels, so it's Amazon Silk browser, any of the channels will come with a video and some information about that channel, and we're just gonna hit back to bring us back to the channel selection. So these are things that it wants me to put on here, but I'm not necessarily going to do that. Coming down, you have sponsored. So obviously, well, not obviously, but you have sponsored. Currently it's Veterans Day, so they are trying to promote the Smithsonian channel. Coming down, next is Prime Original Series. And as you might guess, coming down, next is Epix, Popular TV. You can scroll through that. Coming down next is IMDb TV. Now, Netflix. Surprised to see that on here, but it's way down there. You gotta go through a lot of stuff. I will say, because Netflix supports multiple profiles, the Netflix you see here is the last person to watch it. So if your wife is watching something and you tell it to queue up Netflix using the voice command, it will in turn queue it up on your other person's channel, in my case, my wife. Coming down, news, you've got live indicators, because you can have live TV on this. Recommended by your app. So based on what I have on my thing, it's saying, hey, these are what you would be interested in. On now refers to TV, live TV. You can have live TV. I don't have any live TV on here except for Pluto TV and Locast. So this is where this information is being pulled from. Featured apps and games. Watch with your cable subscription, so you obviously would need actual cable for this, but for me, I'm a cord cutter, so don't have that. Now, again, military, Prime TV shows, this week on Fire TV. I mean, you kind of get the idea. I can keep going, and it's all really Prime related. And we're finally at the bottom for Prime Babies. Pushing down on the remote does not bring me back up to the top, so you either have to scroll through all that again or hit the back button or home button on your remote to bring you all the way back up to the top. While I'm here, I will say the fact that I have to click 1, 2, maybe even 3 times to get to the channel I want to watch is a little annoying. So if I don't happen to have it up in this recent area and I've got to click down to my actual channels and apps, I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite as smooth as some of the other solutions I've tried. Now, I will say, because this is Amazon, you get something that you will not get on other streaming devices. And if we come in here, and this is going to start at the very beginning, so there should be no spoilers. It has X-ray, so we can come in here and do X-ray mode, which is something that Amazon devices can do with Amazon products. You're not going to be able to do this on a Chromecast or on a Roku device. This is going to be exclusive to Echo here, or to the Amazon ecosystem. The other thing you can do with Amazon, because it's their ecosystem, we're going to press play, pause. There we go. Fast forward 1 minute. Start over. You can use the voice activations on the remote to do cool things like that. We're going to hit the home button now. So it's a trade-off for living in their environment. You get to do things like that. Also, because this is more powerful than the streaming sticks that I've done in the past, you can come over and start a VPN service and take a trip over to Britain and check out your Netflix over in Britain. Just saying, not condoning, but a possibility. Coming across the top here, live, again, this is based on channels that you have. So it's saying you can do these, but in order to do that, you have to, 1, get through the promoted video stuff here and click again. And this is featured, not actually the apps that I have on here, sponsored, and then live sports. Again, based on Pluto TV here, Twitch TV, and it's not even bringing in Lowcast. But if we come down here, you can have a channel guide for your live TV. And again, because the channels that I have for live TV are slightly different than your standard Sling TV, DirecTV, any other IPTV service. Again, I have lots of them that I've done over there in the corner, but this is really just gonna show me Pluto TV. So it has its own little user interface TV guide for that channel. Also, if I had favorites, I could just, show me my favorites. And again, because it's just Pluto TV, I don't have any. You also have parental controls. Now you'll notice it keeps bringing me to another area. This is the settings area, which I'll get into a little later. But you have parental controls from here, and you also have settings from here. But we're gonna go all the way back, and now we're gonna move on to your videos. Again, these are your Amazon videos, so anything that you have Prime-wise. Now I'm not gonna, recommending Netflix in there, but it's assorted in with all of this other Prime content. Now I'm not gonna subject you again to scrolling all the way to the bottom. We're just gonna go to the top. Same thing with movies here. Add actual stuff. Prime movies, IMDb, sponsored. You get the idea. TV shows, again, promoting Prime, Epics, sponsored, Prime, IMDb, Prime. Moving over, apps. Like I said, you can have apps. They're channels that you pick. Now, you can have other things like internet and that VPN service. Now, the problem I have with this is, even if we come all the way down here to the bottom, there's no actual search function in this area. You have to use the voice search or go all the way back up to the top here and come to this in order to search. So this is not just search for shows and movies, this is the search across the system. So to me, I wish the app section was a little more flushed out for searchability. Now, pressing down once brings you into featured games, because there can be games not easily done on this remote, but they have peripherals that you can buy to play games, or categories. Even this, I feel that it's just too many clicks to have to go through. So movies and TV, and all of this is in real time. So there we go. So this is all the stuff that you can do, but it still requires a lot of clicking to get through. And we're gonna go back to our apps. Now, before I get into settings, because this is a Fire Stick, you can do some other interesting things with it, such as I have an Echo device right over there, an Echo device right over there. You can tell the Echo device to start watching this on said thing. So if you happen to see on this here, when I was down here, on Netflix, I got Punisher queued up there, or any of these other things. So I can do start Punisher on Netflix. And then we'll wait for that to start up. So because there's several different things with Punisher in it, it wants me to select which one. So we're gonna go back. Not sure why Lucifer's there. What is something on Netflix? Watch Dragon Prince on Netflix. Because at least that I know there shouldn't be anything else. There we go. So it's starting up. Now, I will say, and I've noticed this mainly with the Netflix channel app, the Fire Stick will just reboot itself. And I can't tell if it's because it's updating the firmware, but it shouldn't do that in the middle of watching a show. And it should have enough power because it's plugged into a power source, not the TV. It has done it to me, probably 3 times. My wife watches the Fire Stick much more than I do, so it's happened to her quite a few times. Not sure why, can't reproduce it, can't figure out why. But be aware that that does happen occasionally. Another thing that you can do, because it's the Amazon universe, if I say I have Wyze cameras in my house, again, reviews over there, but I can say, show me the workshop. And then we're going to wait. But here we go, a live feed of my Wyze cam in my workshop downstairs. So that's another trick that, because Amazon controls this ecosystem, they can do things like this. So, I mean, there are trade-offs. You did see when I started watching The Boys and even Netflix, load times are fairly good. Don't really have any pixelation or anything like that. So as a streaming device, it's solid. If you throw in those extra things, if you need those extra things, it becomes a more valuable tool than a regular streaming device. Now, we're going to come all the way across here to settings because, well, sometimes settings are important. So let's take a look. Down here you have notifications. I currently don't have any notifications set up, but this is where you would be able to, again, press the option button there, to sort and deal with any notifications that you have set up. Coming across networks, this will list your networks. I'm not going to show you my networks, but you can select network, select your network, change your passwords. You can do all that there. Coming across display and sounds, selecting, you have screensaver again, because it does have a screensaver. I'm not going to go too in depth, but yes, each of these has options. So if you wanted to play with the screensaver, you've got lots of things that you can play with. Display, again, configuring your display, lots of options to play with. Audio, again, options. Screen mirroring, HDMI, so we're gonna get past this. Applications, so App Store, Amazon Photos, Game Circle, these are Amazon specific things. But you will notice, of that 8 gigabytes that you had on the device, 5.2 is all you get, because the rest is all based on software that the thing needs to run. And you'll notice with the handful of applications that I have, I only have 1.8 gigs left. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. There's also no expandable storage in this, so you cannot put a micro SD card in it to give the channels more space. Not saying that the Rokus could do that, but if you had a set-top box, if you had a Roku set-top box, you could. Equipment control is more of an advanced feature, not something that I would recommend playing with unless you know what you're doing. I have no use for it, again, because I'm looking for a plug-and-play solution. Coming over to live TV, if you had multiple services, Sling, Fubo TV, this is where you can control them. Channel management, if we click on that, Pluto TV. So again, from here, just using the Amazon Fire, this will show me all of them, this will show me my favorites, and this will show me hidden. If you had multiple services, they would all show up here. Live TV sources, again, it's just pulling in Pluto TV. Parental controls, you can set up your parental controls for Pluto TV. So right now, they are off, but I can come in there and I can set a password. The Amazon Fire Remote will tell you battery status, version, firmware, and the serial number. You can add a new device here if you wanted to. Likewise, I said you could get other peripherals. So here's your game control peripheral or other Bluetooth peripherals. Here you have your AAC controls. Coming in here, you have your AAC app and things that you can try. So if you don't know what you can ask your Amazon Echo device here, that's where you can check that out. Preferences, coming in here, parental controls, privacy settings, data monitoring. So if you have a data cap, you're definitely going to want to come in here. Notification settings, they kind of have a separate space for that as well. Featured content, so each of these has a lot of stuff. The one that you're concerning with right now is this featured content, allow video autoplay. So in the featured area, I was skipping over it, but if you stop in that promoted area, that will automatically start playing. Some people like that, some people don't. Sync recent contact. Here's the location. Not the right location, but that's a location. I got to update that apparently. Time zone, language, and unit of measurement for metric. All right, privacy settings, only going to show you this because it's device data usage on, personal data is collected, collect app usage data, interest-based ads I turned off pretty much right away. These other things I wanted to leave on for the purposes of testing, but after testing we'll be turning them off. I will be turning them off. So those are our preferences. Moving over, My Fire TV. So this is pretty much information about your Fire Stick. Now, you'll notice that this is the only place that you can restart or factory reset your device. There's no physical button on the device itself that would allow you to do this. Accessibility, obviously there will be a lot of accessibility options. Closed captioning, voice view, screen magnification. Last is help. And help videos, quick tips, contact us, and feedback. So any one of those will give you extra options. Last is your account here. Sync Amazon content, and then your name up there, which I will not be showing you. So that is a brief view of the settings and kind of an overall view of the things that your Fire Stick can do and how the user interface looks. Now, I will say, hypothetically, if you wanted to change the order of something, so Netflix here, we want to move that. We hit the 3 buttons here, and then we can move to front, more info, or uninstall over there on the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to say move to front. And quick little refresh there, and now it is the first option. Now, Twitch will say, hey, we're not going to move it to front, but we're going to move it, and then we're just going to bring up the grid here and slide it to where we want and hit OK. We hit OK and hit the back button, and there it is. It's locked into place. So I realize that there's a lot of Amazon heavy stuff in here, a lot. But as far as the user interface goes, minus the fact that I feel like it takes one too many clicks to get down to the My Apps area, the user interface isn't terrible. And if you're in the Amazon ecosystem anyway, it's going to be surfacing those items because, well, it figures you want to watch them. But that has been a look at the Amazon Fire Stick 4K user interface. Chances are, if you have normal Amazon Fire Cube or Fire Stick, your interface will be the same. So take what you learned from here and you can use it elsewhere as well. So here's the thing. If you're willing to live inside Amazon's playground, or you're already invested into that, this is a very good setup, especially if you can get it on sale, which, let's be honest, when Amazon runs sales during Black Friday, Prime Day, Cyber Monday, you probably will be able to find this on Amazon for cheaper than it normally is. That's why I ended up getting it. Mainly that it is $50 normally, or if you get it on sale, $25. For me, that $25 spurred me to, one, get it and test it out, but also, second, Amazon, that owns Twitch, seems to be clamping down on other streaming devices that can play Twitch, which kind of upset me because I actually purchased a channel over there to watch Twitch on my Roku because they stopped supporting the official Twitch channel on Roku, and this other vendor had a great option, but Amazon put the kibosh on that. So this is your Twitch streaming device if you want it. I think NVIDIA Shield might also do it, but for sure, Amazon Fire Sticks will play Twitch TV. So if that's the only thing that you need out of this, well, you know, if you need your Twitch, this is probably the device you're looking for, aside from all those other things it can do. So with that said, it is priced to sell when on sale and is a good streaming device. if you can deal with the few caveats that I mentioned, it's a plug and play device, and if you live in the Amazon ecosystem already, it's almost a no-brainer. So, I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.